Hello, everyone. I am Mr. Darston, and welcome to another edition of In the Money with Mr. Darston. Throughout my nearly 2 decades of helping people become masters of their money, the biggest question by far that I've been asked by clients, prospective clients, and friends has to do with whether or not they have enough money. Right now, of course, that's a concern. There's the day-to-day living, but also, will I have enough money in the future? That's the biggest concern clients have expressed to me. As you look to the future and focus on the concern of whether or not you're going to have enough money later, the real problem that comes into focus is that you are not saving enough money now and you are falling behind in preparing for your future. We're well aware that it costs money to live and the necessities of life are not going anywhere. Your housing, your transportation, your food expenses, healthcare especially, and of course we have to include taxes. They're going to be there. We must pay those expenses and plan for those. But let's focus on another area of our expenses that may be skewing the scale and hurting us as it pertains to what we're saving and eventually investing. Let's focus for a minute on discretionary income. Discretionary income is income remaining after mandatory expenses and necessities are addressed. Based on data that's been collected, the average U.S. household has over $20,000 of discretionary income at their disposal to use as they see fit each year. You may be thinking to yourself, $20,000 is a lot of money, and I certainly don't have that extra each year. Well, let's reduce that number by 20%. Let's say you have $16,000 of discretionary income to use each year. What studies have found is that even that $16,000 doesn't get used towards savings. Of course, you got to live, you got to have fun. But typically after the fun is had, there's about $6,000 left over. What happens to that? If you made it a point to save $5,000 of that $6,000 leftover money each year, in 25 years, you'd have over $130,000 saved. Better still, if you invested that $5,000 over 25 years, earned even about 8% on average, you'd have nearly $400,000 saved for yourself. Unfortunately, we're not seeing this type of saving strategy being implemented in reality. And the result is most people do not have the money they're needing or will need to take care of themselves later in life. Even a person who's been in the workforce for 25 or 30 years has well under the $130,000 threshold that we mentioned previously, and nowhere near $400,000 saved. Fortunately, many of the problems we face in life have solutions. So let's focus on some strategies we can implement to help solve our savings crisis. The first step will be to hold yourself personally accountable and start taking inventory and tracking your spending habits. Be sure you're aware of how much you're bringing in, net of taxes, how much you're spending, what's left over, and what you're doing with your discretionary income. Keeping tabs on yourself is the first step in being able to master your money. Next, make sure you get organized. As you evaluate your habits, collect past statements from your bank accounts, your credit card accounts, things of that nature to help you keep track of what's been going on so you can make an educated and informed decision about what your spending habits actually are and what you can do in the future to make some adjustments to put yourself in a better position. Once you've got a grasp on your income and your spending habits, you put yourself in a position where you can actually set goals based on the amount of money you have left over on average that you can start using toward a savings plan. Now, when you set your goals, it's important to track your progress. I can't emphasize enough how helpful putting things on a spreadsheet, creating a budget can be in helping you keep track of how you're doing. Implementing a strategy like this may seem like hard work, and you may initially find it frustrating, but trust me, in the end, it'll be rewarding and you'll be glad you did. Now that you've crunched numbers and done all the hard stuff, you're organized and you know how much you can afford to save each month. Well, instead of making it harder on yourself, this is the time where you want to initiate an automatic savings program. Most banks and financial institutions will allow you to move a portion of your monies that you have to a savings account or an investment account automatically each month or each pay period. Putting your savings on autopilot makes it easy for you to stay consistent, and staying consistent is key. When you stay consistent, in time, as you look at your accounts, you'll watch them grow and grow and grow, and in the end, you have more money to work with. As your income increases, don't neglect your savings. Make sure you add more to your savings so the value of your future monies grows as well. This is vitally important, and it should be implemented and reviewed ever so often. What do I mean by that? Well, each time you get a raise or an increase in salary, make sure you increase your savings by a proportional amount so it can grow as well. Whether we like it or not, managing money properly is a responsibility and a job we must all take on. And if we do it right, we can find ourselves well rewarded. Now let's go over our checklist of what we can do to put ourselves in a better position when it comes to having money in the future. Number one, have a will and be committed to savings. I can't emphasize enough how this is so vitally important. You have to get started and you must impose your will in order to be successful. Secondly, take inventory and keep tracking what you've been doing. Thirdly, remember that consistency is key. Keep pushing, keep striving, keep going. Don't forget, you can make it easier on yourself by setting up an automatic savings plan. Fourth, and definitely not least, when you get a chance to add more money to your savings, increase your savings. Again, any pay increases you have, proportionally increase the amount that you're saving. In the Money with Mr. Darstons is a part of the Darstons brand. And the Darstons brand is all about helping better our communities through coaching, events, and speaking, where we talk about everything from family to finances. If you want more information like you've received today, please hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Leave a comment below about any topics you'd like to hear us talk about further. Thank you.